The Wii U didn't really click with consumers, and that's a real shame because the Wii U has some of the most stellar games that have been released in the recent decade. Now that the Nintendo Switch has been out for a while, I thought it would be fitting to look at the less successful Wii U and list my top 10 Wii U games of all time. But first, let's make this list a little more interesting. This list will not contain the following games: Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart, and Super Smash Bros. With that out of the way, let's jump into my top 10 Wii U games of all time. Starting off the list at number 10 is Super Mario 3D World. I heavily enjoyed Super Mario 3D Land on the 3DS, and 3D World was no different. Actually, it was even better. Unlike Super Mario Bros. U, the levels actually have some layers to it. Your movement is not just limited to left and right, it can be up and down and diagonal. The game still has the series staple power-ups. Mushroom and Fire Flower are still in the game, but the cat suit is also a welcome addition. It allows players to dash and even climb walls. Multiplayer with 3 of your buddies is extremely fun and competitive, all because of a silly crown that literally does nothing. Also, we can't forget the fact that thanks to Super Mario 3D World, we now have Captain Toad. There are actually Captain Toad levels within the game, and eventually it became its own thing. There's something magical about Super Mario 3D World. Maybe it's the attention to detail that's in every texture. Maybe it's the vibrant colors, or maybe it's the level design. Whatever it is, Super Mario 3D World is probably one of the best platformers on the Wii U. Up next on the list at number 9 is Pokken, or whatever you want to call it. The announcement of a Pokemon fighting game on the Tekken engine shook the entire gaming community. I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong, the idea of Pokemon fighting is pretty normal, but not in a sense like this where it's a 2D arcade fighting style game. There are 16 playable Pokemon and several assist Pokemon to choose from. Each Pokemon has their own unique moveset and playstyle. There's Weavile, who uses his speed to his advantage. There's Chandelure, who thrives off its long range and uses it to space out opponents. I, for one, personally like to play as Machamp, who excels off grabbing its opponents. There are online rank matches, and it made me realize I suck at Pokken. That's not a bad thing. In fact, it made me want to get better at the game. And I'm still not good. Whether you're a hardcore fighting game fanatic, or just a casual like myself, Pokken will satisfy your arcade fighting game thirst. Saving the planet at number 8 is The Wonderful 101, made by Platinum Games and one of the Wii U's hidden gems. The Wonderful 101 stars the heroic Wonder Red and his 3 other companions Wonder Blue, Wonder Green, and Wonder Pink. Each character has their own unique personality, and the story is lighthearted and comedic. Wonder Red, who's the leader of the group, is my favorite, and he looks like Beautiful Joe, probably because Platinum Games have people who've worked on the Beautiful Joe series. They kinda look like long lost brothers, or maybe cousins, I don't know, but they're both pretty cool. What separates the Wonderful 101 from other brawlers is its difficulty and its use of the gamepad. To fight, you draw weapons on the gamepad. Though you can only draw a select few, the game does recognize how big you draw the weapons, and it will reflect that in the game. Overall, the Wonderful 101 is a great game. It'll kick your butt at times, but if you're up for the challenge, you won't be disappointed. Slamming its way to number 7 is Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. I'll be honest, when the game first released, I had no intention of getting it. However, thanks to getting enough Club Nintendo coins, I was able to get the game for free. Man, I miss Club Nintendo. Tropical Freeze is a fantastic 2D platformer that is more difficult than your average Mario 2D side-scroller. You play as Donkey Kong, who can jump, roll, and slam things. You can also choose one of his 3 friends to aid him in his adventure. There's Diddy Kong, who has a jetpack that lets you hover. Dixie Kong allows you to reach higher platforms. And finally, there's Cranky Kong, who has a cane that lets you bounce and is immune to any spikes and gives you a nice boost. The highlight of the game is definitely the boss battles. It's a test of precise timing and memorizing the boss's patterns. Oh man, it is so extremely satisfying beating the boss after your 10th attempt and you've died so many times. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is a pretty chill game that you'll go bananas for. Arriving in style at number 6 is Bayonetta 2. I already did a review of the game, so check the description down below for the video. But here's a short summary of what I think about the game. It's fun, it's got action, guns, plot, and more plot. Making its way to number 5 is Mario Maker. Mario Maker is a dream come true for all Mario fans. Thanks to the Wii U's gamepad, making levels are seamless and even fun to create. You're given everything that goes in a Mario level. From coin blocks to Goombas, you can even choose between 4 styles of Mario games. From the original, to Super Mario World, to Super Mario 3, to even now the new Super Mario Bros. After your masterpiece is complete, you can share your level to the entire world via Wi-Fi. Mario Maker allows you to play an infinite amount of levels made by you and the Mario Maker community. This game really shows how creative the community can be. There are levels that require puzzle solving, and there are levels that require you to do absolutely nothing and just enjoy the ride. Whether you're playing or creating, you'll have a fantastic experience with Super Mario Maker. Inking its way to number 4 is Splatoon. Nintendo took a chance and created this colorful third-person shooter. I'll be only focusing on Splatoon's online multiplayer because who really cares about the single player in a shooter game? What differentiates Splatoon from other shooters is that kills don't matter as much. In order to win a match, you and your team must have the most ink on the map by the end of the time limit. You do this while trying to stop the enemy team from covering the map in their own ink. The concept works wonderfully, and in my opinion, is way more fun than your average shooter. Splatoon has a variety of weapons, sub-weapons, and specials players can choose from. Some of the primary weapons are the roller, ink brush, splatter shot, splat charger, and a lot more. Playing online, you have some options. You can play the standard Turf Wars, or you can change it up and go Tower Control or Rainmaker. There's also a rank mode where you can prove that you're the best of the best as you climb the ranks. Splatoon is one of the Wii U's best multiplayer games on the market. Do yourself a favor and pick up this game. Taking bronze on this list is none other than Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Many people who are new to the series may be intimidated by the game's high difficulty and somewhat slow progression. Starting off fighting those huge monsters was extremely difficult. The core Pekko was destroying my will to live. Just when I thought it was about to die, it decides to heal up and fly away. Eventually I memorized the Foul Beast's patterns, and it was no match for me. Memories like this are what makes playing Monster Hunter an incredible experience. You don't level up in Monster Hunter. Your progression is marked by your armor and weapons. You can craft stronger equipment by using parts you've obtained by killing or capturing monsters. The real fun in Monster Hunter is playing online with friends. I would always play online with my good friend Zero every night during the summer. We both had over 400 hours played on this enormous game, and you know what? I still want to play more of it. If you're up for an epic adventure and a challenge, Monster Hunter 3 is a no-brainer. Coming second on this list is The Legend of Zelda The Windwaker. Growing up, believe it or not, I've never owned a GameCube. We had a SNES, an N64, but all of a sudden my family switched to Sony consoles. Fast forward to present day, I got to play the amazingness that is Wind Waker HD on the Wii U. Playing through the game, I felt like a kid again. All I wanted to do was explore the sea and discover new places. Thanks to the fast sale exclusive to the HD remake, sailing the seas was faster and more enjoyable. Combat in the game was fluid. Attacking, dodging, and countering made me feel invincible. Bosses in the game were standard for the most part, memorizing patterns and using an item from the dungeon to beat the boss. But the most amazing part of Wind Waker is that you can take a selfie, even in a boss battle. Wind Waker HD continues to charm gamers with its shell-shaded graphics and its excellent gameplay. Now, the number 1 choice was extremely hard to choose. I mean, we just went over 9 stellar games. But there is one game that outshines them all. Coming in at number 1, my top Wii U game of all time is Sonic Boom! I mean Nintendo Land! Nintendo Land is a perfect reminder on why local multiplayer games aren't going anywhere. Nintendo Land is different from your standard minigame compilation. Up to 5 players can play at a time, 4 using the Wii Remote and 1 using the Wii U gamepad. The Wii U's gamepad is clearly the star of the show because it allows one person to have their own screen and get down to business. Whether it's running away from all the Toads in Mario Chase or sneaking up on Mii's in Luigi's Ghost Mansion. Nintendo Land is a game my friends and I will be playing for years on end. considering how 1-2 Switch kinda flopped, I'm pretty sure Nintendo Land 2 would be much better. Well guys, that ends my top 10 Wii U games of all time. The Wii U may have failed commercially, but the people who actually bought a Wii U got so much enjoyment out of the system because of all these stellar games. If I happen to leave out any games you love, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more. This is Ace, and have a stellar day!